All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Naples Mac Friends user group meeting, Wednesday, the November 3rd meeting.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I have a disclaimer, first of all. I am having some crazy computer problems and my apps are crashing. So if I disappear, I'll be back. Just know that. So I will be taking questions during the presentation. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat or raise your hand and I will get to you. Please make sure that the question you have is appropriate to what we're talking about at that moment. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. And let's share this and share that. And all right, let's get rid of this. And cool. All right. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank
Yep.
you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for making me laugh because
She tells us to
that's
mute ourselves and then she wants to know if we can
you
hear.
you mute yourself. Okay. You mute. You mute. Everybody else you can unmute. Anyway, no. But anyway, all right. Okay, let me do that. All right, so thank you for coming today. As you have already heard enough about me, my name is Chita Hunter, and I'm going to go over Q&A today, and hopefully it will be entertaining. Please join in. I want to have some fun today. It'll help me with whatever's I'm going through. So again, thank you, and let's get started. So my first question today is there a way of grouping email addresses so that you can hit just one address to insert 10 or so email addresses in the address box? Well, absolutely, yes. This question was from Bob Levine, and you can create an email group. Let's click back on there. And what you do this in contacts, and it's probably best, or I think only done from your computer. I don't know if you can do this from your iPad, but create a email or contact group, and this is how. Open up your contacts, and I want you to select new group. Once you select a new group, you'll get a new group popped up on the left-hand side of your screen, and just name that group. And for the sake of whatever I named it, I just put insert name of group here. So you name your group, and after you name your group, you then go to all of your contacts. There'll be an all contacts category up at the top, and you select the name of the contact that you want in this group, and you just drag it into that group. And then after you're done, and you can see I'm just dropping it in, and Mitch, hi, used you. You just drop it in, and then when you go to your email program, this is Apple related. When you go to your email program, when you type in the name of your group, it will populate all of those email addresses into the to field. And then you can send that email off. And so all you're doing is inputting the name of the group. It will populate all of the email addresses, and then you just send it off. Now, etiquette. Be very conscious of email etiquette. When you send off a group email, you either make sure all of these people don't mind you sending their email through a group, or click on the BCC, blind carbon copy field, and put all of the email addresses there. And in the to field, put your email address. Some people do not like you putting their email address in a group because people have taken that and then used it and sent it off, and then you end up getting spam. So as a just, courtesy, ask or put all of those addresses in the blind carbon copy field. Any questions on that? Will this work with smart
Yeah,
content?
Chita, it's Mitch.
Yeah, go ahead.
One really great shortcut that I've used over the years to create that kind of a special group is like my bike group. What I do is somewhere in the contact, I just put bike. It can be in the notes area, it can be in the company area or whatever. But then when you go to contacts and you're creating that group in the search field, I just put bike and then all the bike members come up and I can drag all of them at one time.
Yes, yes, that's a great tip. Now, I have a question about will this work with smart contacts? No, it will not. You have to create a contact group, just a group first. So don't try it with smart contacts. I've tried it, it won't populate. So it has to be a regular group. And thank you, Mitch. Reminder would be appropriate. Thank you, got that. This work with, can this work with iCloud contacts? I don't know what you mean by that, Melissa. Will this work with iCloud contacts? When you create contacts in your contact app, it all is stored in the iCloud. So yes, and I guess the answer to your question then is yes. And Don Peacock, you have a question. Unmute yourself and go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Chita. So they would all go in the same, wherever you selected, to BCC or wherever. You couldn't select a group that would automatically have to somebody and then the other people would be either carbon copy or BCC. They just all go in wherever you clicked to send. Is that correct?
Well, wherever you type in that group's name, that's the field all of those addresses will populate. So if you typed it into the to or the CC or the BCC.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chita, I believe what Don Peacock really is asking, when you use BCC, the BCC field exclusively, do you have to use the to field at all? And you can leave that empty. I mean, I think that's what Don, I think, was asking.
Okay, if he was, yes, you can leave the to field empty. I've left it empty before. No, you have to have a to. It doesn't.
No, I'm sorry. You don't have to. I use it all the time because when I send out mass messages to our membership, I use the BCC and I send it out to them only.
Right. If you have a BCC, no, you don't have to use the to field. Yeah. I was thinking that you didn't have anything anywhere else. No, you don't have to have the to field filled in. But just so people, I just sort of know it's from me, I'll put it in the to field and email it to myself as well. But you don't have to have the to field filled in.
That's actually not a feature of the email protocols. That's a feature of your mail application you happen to be using, whether it'll accept, whether it will send a message without an explicit to field.
You are correct, Jim. Thank you very much. John Buckley, you have a question?
Yes. How do you remove somebody from the group?
You go to that group, you click on that email name, and you can remove it from the group. It does not remove it from your contacts, it just removes it from the group. And let me say this, when you create a group and put email addresses in the group, it does not like move the email addresses. They're still in all contacts. Creating a group is just an easier way to access people. Okay. That answer your question, John?
Yeah, you just drag it out of the group then? You go to the group?
You can right click on it and you will be given an option to remove from group.
Okay.
All right, great. Okay. if a member of the contact group has multiple email addresses, how do you specify which to use? You'll have to select it or make it like the topmost email. Like I'll have a category set for each email address, maybe like home or work. But if it's at the topmost of that list in the contacts, it will usually select that one first, or it'll give you an option of which one to select. Right? Can other recipients modify this group? No, other recipients cannot modify that group. If they receive the group's email addresses, they can still use them. That's why I put things in BCC so that they can't, all right? Send other email addresses. Seems like groups are like smart folders. Yes and no. Yes, if you remove a contact from your address book, it will be removed from that group. But Apple contacts and some email clients have a interesting way of remembering things. So even though you delete that contact, you might have to tell the email client to like remove it and don't remember it. And that's a whole different story right there. All right, I am going to move on. Alan, you have a question.
It's not a question, it's a comment. You mentioned before that you don't know exactly how to do it in iOS. Well, in iOS, if you frequently send the same an email to a group frequently, if you take the name of that first person in that group, you very often get not only that person, but all the other people that you normally send them to. So that's kind of a workaround on how you do it in iOS.
Okay, I can't follow you, Alan, but thank you. All right, let's move on. Okay. All right, where is fall detection activated? And excuse me for a second, because I want to make sure. Yeah, that was the next question. And let's start this one over. Where is fall detection activated? How do I get AFib working? It is grayed out when I try to set up. So from your iPhone, so pull out your iPhone, and this question is from Linda Oakley. All right, pull out your iPhone and open up to the Apple Watch app. Scroll down to select emergency SOS. And from there, you can enable fall detection. And fall detection is a really cool feature. It really helps. Any questions about that?
I believe she also asked about AFib. And
I got it. Thank you. Okay, this is just about, we're just doing fall detection right now. Any questions about fall detection?
But she also said, how do I get AFib working?
Alan, thank you. All right, any questions about fall detection? Okay, now, Alan, got you right here. Regarding the ECG app setup from the health app, if you'd answered positive when you were filling out AFib, it will not let you continue. And this is why. The Apple Watch will not allow someone who has been diagnosed with atrial fibrillation to use it for that purpose. That is why they got a warning message and it won't finish setting up. Apple states the watch is not a medical device and it only occasionally checks for AFib. So Apple does not want you to say that you have AFib and then rely on the Apple Watch as a medical detection device. That's why if you answered yes to that question during AFib setup, it will not let you continue. Alan, here you go. Any questions, comments?
I'm kind of curious, if you say no,
Okay,
then it will let you, but then you have the liability issue, not
that
them.
is correct. That is correct. That is why they will not let you continue with that.
Chita, it's
yes,
Mitch. If you say yes, and then you want to go back now that you know this and change it, is that easily done?
I don't know if it's easily done. The person who asked me this question did say that they eventually went back and said no to that question, and then they were able to set it up. So because mine is already set up and I said no, I couldn't go back to, I didn't go back to test it, but it can be done. So it can be
Okay,
done.
yeah, that was same thing with me. I said no, and I was just
Mhm.
curious. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. And thank you, Alan. All right, next slide. How can I get rid of the YouTube music on my iPhone? I have tried to delete it, but it always comes back. Well, what was supposed to be a fun gift has turned into a really ugly situation with Apple. 6 years ago, with the iPhone 6 event, Apple gifted everybody, all of their customers, with the automatic download of the U2 album. And most were not happy about it. I was sort of indifferent because I thought, okay, I got this and I'll be able to delete it. Well, when I tried to delete it, it came back. And no matter what I tried, it came back. So after a while, I just said, well, maybe at some point I'll listen to it. 6 years later, I haven't listened to a single title. And I see it on my devices. And I think, okay, at some point, maybe I'll try to delete it. And so, excuse me. So I did a little research on this. And after you first received this gift, there was methods that you had to go through to officially delete it from your albums, from your library. But after a certain amount of time, it became increasingly different with different types of methods to delete this. Because normally when you purchase songs and then you delete them or remove them from your library, you possibly have the option to download them again. I've read that that's not the case with this. And because it's not normally how you go about working with the purchase, when you delete it, you sort of never have the option to bring it back again because it was, I don't know, Apple's gift. So what I've read is that customers are no longer able to remove this album from their devices on your own. And that if you want to remove it, you actually have to call Apple support and have them do it. Any questions? Okay, yes, Jill, that's where that came from. It was a gift. Okay, all right, no more questions. And actually, let me finish up that. So you two, there's some love, but not love here in some cases. All right, let's move on. Next question. Is there a way to block my number on an outgoing call? I have an iPhone 12. And this question is from Kenneth Falls. Kenneth, some things haven't changed when it comes to using your phone for smartphones and landlines. All you have to do is press *67. And the other options that you learned when you had a landline, I think there's a *69 or other protocols that you can just type in. They still work on your smartphone. So what was there for the landlines is also there for your smartphone. *67. All right, any questions? All right, and okay, so we'll move on with our next slide. Next question. How to toggle off the quick actions and more button from the Finder. This is a question that I was very interested in because this quick actions display came out with Mojave. And when it came out with Mojave, it was a feature that I did not like. And at the time, you could not get rid of it. What it is, it gave you these extensions that you could use on a file. You could either create a PDF, or you could trim, or you could rotate. And that little information covered over the information of the file, which was much more important to me than to see the quick actions. So quick actions look like this. If you're in the Finder window, if you see this underneath a file, when you click on a file, these are called the quick actions. And again, they were introduced in Mojave, and at that time, Apple did not give you a way to remove them that I remember seeing. So how do they come about? In the system's preferences, if you go to extensions and click on extensions, you will see the different quick actions that you can actually show in the Finder window. So those of you, have all of you seen these extensions? You can raise your hand or give me a yes. Really? Who is that? Okay, Jill, yes. Anyone else? You see these extensions when you are in the Finder?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, David. All right, so to turn them off. Now, I've just shown you where they are and which ones you can show if you're interested in seeing them. If you want to turn them off, you go to the Finder and you go to the Finder menu. You go to the View menu, and down at the very bottom, you'll see Show Preview Options. When you click on Show Preview Options, it then pops up this menu. And down at the very bottom of this menu, you'll see that Show Quick Actions is checked. If you uncheck this box, those quick actions will disappear from the bottom of the Finder window when you click on a file. So I hope that is useful. Any questions or comments on quick actions? Okay, all right. Thank you, Jill. All right, let's move on. Please mute your microphone. How can I determine when the tip of the Apple Pen needs to be replaced? Well, there's several things that you should look for. First of all, look for, is the tip being as responsive as it was normally when you first got it as you're using it now? Do you have to press down hard to get your tip to work? Is it worn down? Is there a flat edge or a rough tip, or is it damaged? Do you have teeth marks from how you normally chew on pencils? Do you have teeth marks on the tip? So who has an Apple Pencil? Anyone? You unmute yourself.
This is Jim Korska. I have one.
Have you had any problems with it being non-responsive as you've been using it?
Oh yeah, I destroyed it once. It was strictly my doing. I had it on the charge cord, and I sat it in the cup on my Barca lounger, and I accidentally closed the lid on it, and it completely smashed the tip. Yes, I had to buy a whole new pencil.
Okay.
But I would not consider this to be in the realm of what you talked about.
Okay. All right. Bill Nice, you have a question or comment?
No, I have a pen, but I find I really don't use it very much.
Okay. All right. You missed a great presentation by Dale. If you get a chance to view it, please do. Dale will give you reason to pull that pencil out. Mitch, you have a comment.
Yes, I have the pencil 1 and 2. I only use the 2 now. And the only problem that I have is I noticed that if I'm not putting it directly on the screen, if I have it at a little bit of an angle, sometimes it's not registering at all.
Okay. All right.
So I've just learned to deal with that. And I just figured that was probably the way it's supposed to work.
Okay. Maybe you need to replace the tip and see if it's just that tip or if that's just how it's working with you.
Cheetah, this is Jim
yeah, I don't-
again.
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, Mitch, I don't think it's supposed to work that way. I just hold it like a normal pencil at the proper angle and it works fine. I think you got something wrong with your tip.
I've got a tip problem. Okay, thank you.
Well, there are
A
plenty
tipping
of
problem.
there are plenty of places where you can buy replacement tips for your Apple Pencil. And Sharon, you said you have both the 1 and 2. Do you have any issues with either being responsive? No.
No, they are working just fine. I just got to make sure that I use the right one on the right device because
Great.
the 2 is great in that I don't have to worry about looking for the thing to recharge it and losing the cap. 1, you have to take the cap off to recharge it. And, you're talking about a mad dash or mad scurry to, where did I put that doggone cap? Looking all over the place. That's a little maddening. So that's what's the best about the 2. And the 2 doesn't roll around. I can't tell you the number of times that the 1 rolled off, whatever.
Yes.
But that being said, they're both really great, and just got to make sure that you use the right one for the right device.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sharon. Kathy, your question. Can you please unmute yourself and ask your question? Kathy's question was, does the Apple Pencil work on old iPads? As Sharon just said, the different model Apple Pencils work with different model iPads. You might want to look that up, do an online search, or go to the Apple site and see which pencil works with which device. My speaker's talking to me. Okay. And David, make sure your tip is snugly attached. They can come loose. Absolutely. Yes, they can. Thank you, Dave. And Jill, can you unmute yourself and ask your question?
I use a 7 Plus iPhone, the 4th generation iPad, and my desktop Mac is a 2015 27-inch version. And I know that very soon some of them will not be upgradable. Well,
Jill, is this a question about the pencil or your devices?
It's really in that, do you think if I should replace my iPad now in order to be able to use the pencil, because it sounds like a good idea, but in view of the fact that I've got other things that also need replacing, I'm not quite sure how to go about it all. Just needed some general advice, really. on being able to use a pencil. You can't
Well,
use but the iPad, can you?
correct. You cannot use the pencil on any other device besides your iPad. So your buying a new iPad can be totally independent right now of replacing your other devices.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And you actually can now purchase a iPad that works with the original generation, the first generation Apple Pencil. The iPad Pro will only work with the Apple Pencil 2 will only work with the iPad Pros. So you can still decide which Apple Pencil you want to use by which iPad you purchase.
Okay, fine. Thank
Okay. You're welcome, Joe.
Chita, it also works with the new Mini too.
Okay, iPad. All right. Thank you, Mitch. All right. Gerald, you have a quick question or comment?
Well, you both just answered it. The with the new generations, the Mini works with the Pencil 2, but the new iPads, not the M1, will retro back to the iPad, the first pencil, which is weird. I don't know why they did that.
Okay, now my understanding is that the iPad Pro the Apple Pencil 2 will only work with it. I just purchased a new iPad and the first generation pencil will work with that. Dave, can you correct me if Dave McGuire?
What it is the 2017 iPad Pros, both models work with the Pencil 1. The intro $329 iPad currently, and I think whatever models work with the Pencil will work with Pencil 1. And that's what I know. And I have a new iPad Pro 2021 that works with Pencil 2. I know the 11-inch works with Pencil 2, but I don't know before 2017 and 2021.
Okay. Mr. McGuire, can you do some input on that question?
I would be happy to help. So the original iPad Pro models are when the Gen 1 pencils came out. So if you have an iPad Pro that has rounded sides, you need a Gen 1 pencil. If you have an iPad Pro that has squared off sides, that is a Gen 2 pencil. That's the easiest way to tell just by a quick look. And yes, the current version of the iPad for $329 uses the Gen 1 pencil. And I believe the Gen 2 pencil works on the new Mini. I'm not 100% on that. I think someone else mentioned that already.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
It works on the Mini.
Okay, so that's perfect because that too has squared off sides. So that's a great way to look at it when you decide which pencil do I need. You can go from there.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right. Peter, you have a question?
Yes, more a statement. The only current range of iPads that work with the original Apple Pencil is the $329 option. All the other current iPads use the Apple Pencil 2.
All right. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate your input. All right, let's move on. And our next question is, can you create email rules and filters on the iPad? Yes, sort of. You can access iCloud.com from your iPad. The rules and filters you create on iCloud.com will be recognized on your iPad with the Mail app. There's a person I know who did this excellent presentation called Tame Your Inbox. And it goes over how to organize rules, filters, and smart mailboxes. And it shows you how iCloud.com works with either your iPad, your iOS devices, And actually, you cannot access iCloud.com on an iOS device, meaning your phone. You have to do that from an iPad. So this person who did this great presentation, you might know her, she's speaking to you now, but if you go to YouTube and just type in my name, look for this presentation. I've divided it into chapters so that it can give you, you can get information very quickly and precisely, and you don't have to watch the whole video. I think it's over an hour, but this will give you a really good understanding on how you create rules and filters. All right, shameless plug, yes, but thank you for listening. Any questions on that? Modest, aren't we? Hey, you know? Okay, let's move on. Next question is, what is the best app to use to back up my iPad? And this question actually was from two different people, but it sort of came in at the same time. And it also came in as Mike Wozniak's group in Suffolk had Gregorio Zanin as their presenter last week. Gregorio Zanin is the developer of iMazing. And to say that iMazing is everything that you, almost everything, or everything that you could want an app to be that works with your devices is an understatement. First of all, the best app to use to back up your iPad is iMazing, hands down. And the next question, where are iMazing backups stored? Well, iMazing backups, just like some other things that are related to iOS devices, are stored in a hidden location. Apple decided a few years back that it would hide its library files. And there are those of us who know how to unhide that library file and get into it and do some things that we normally know how to do. If you do not know what that library folder is for, please do not mess around in it because you can jack up your computer really nicely. So, Peter's saying he has his iMazing backup stored on an external drive. You can store them on a external drive as well. All of mine are stored on my computer, and being on my computer, they go to this hidden location. So, and yours is on a Drobo, cool. I want to say I sold my Drobo years ago. You will not find iMazing in the App Store. You please do an online search and look for iMazing and download it from their website. Okay.
We will have iMazing as a speaker in February.
Yes, Gregorio Zanin will be, he's in Switzerland. So usually when he's doing a presentation for us, it's like in the wee hours of the morning. So he's a wonderful, very, very nice guy. Okay, any other questions about iMazing? If you do not have iMazing, you are missing out on a program. You're missing out on a program that is very helpful to you. And I want to quickly give you a reason. Please mute your microphone, George. Thank you. Okay, quickly. I had a friend who passed away. And before my friend passed away, my friend sent me a text. And as I'm reading this text, I start bawling because my friend is saying goodbye. She passed away a few days later. And I kept those text messages on my phone. I did not want to get rid of them. There was no way for me to get those text messages off of my phone to save them somewhere else because Apple just didn't allow you to do that. And taking a screenshot was just an awful substitute for getting those text messages. iMazing allowed me to go into my iPhone and export that entire text thread with my friend from years back to present date and export all of that out as a PDF. So for me, that was worth a lifetime of iMazing support right there. So it's a great program. If you don't have it, you could really use it. Yes, iMazing can also detect the Pegasus malware that's on iPad OS and iOS devices. Thank you, Peter, for putting that in the chat. All right, so like George said, Gregorio will be here in February. It is a presentation you do not want to miss. And go to the website, look at the app, download it. If you have any questions, he will walk you through every single question you have. He's a really great guy.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead, George. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you go to the a message board, Groups.io, I posted a 30% off discount that was available to Mike's group, and we also posted it to our group. So it's on the message board, and it's 30% off of iMazing, the app.
Okay. All right. Thank you, George. All right, let's move on. Our next question. Our next question is from Don. Is there any way to show seconds on time in the menu bar? Yes, Don, there is. And it's depending on what iOS, what OS you're on, the preferences is in a separate or different location. If you're on Catalina, you go to System Preferences, Date and Time, and actually, let me show you this. So if you're on Catalina, you go to your System's Preferences. You select Date and Time, and then it will take you to this pane, and you select Display the Time with Seconds. If you're on Big Sur or Monterey, you go to the Systems Preferences. You go to Dock and Menu Bar, and then it will bring up this pane. On the left-hand side, you select Clock Menu Bar, and from there, you select Display the Time with Seconds. So Don, does that answer your question? Still here? So hopefully that answers Don's question. Don is here. Okay. All right. Any questions on this? All right, let's move on to the next question. How can you create custom keyboard shortcuts for apps? Okay, did you know that you can do this for apps on your computer? Create custom keyboard shortcuts? All right. Okay, thank you, Jill. No. All right. So first of all, and this is a very cool question. I like this question. First of all, you have to know what command you want to create a shortcut for. And it should be a command, excuse me, that does not already have a keyboard shortcut associated with it. So let's do this. And okay, so let me exit out of this because I'm going to show you this on my computer. And let me bring up systems. And, all right, so let's go here. And so in Keynote, there is not a command for keyboard shortcut command for save as, and I'm going to put one right here. So from here, in preferences, you're going to click on keyboard. From keyboard, you click on the shortcuts tab. Okay, let's close you off. All right. In the shortcuts, I'm going to click on the left-hand side. and I want to click on App Shortcuts. Now, I already have some shortcuts here, so I'm just going to sort of ignore that. But when you want to add a shortcut, you click on the plus sign here, and it brings up a window, or they call sheets actually. And they basically are asking you, what application do you want to create this shortcut for? You can make it for all applications, but if you click on this menu, you can select the application you want to create a shortcut for. And I'm going to do that for Keynote. Now, the menu title is Save As. And the shortcut that I'm going to add will be Shift Option S. Once I type Shift Option S on my keyboard, the shortcuts show up here, and then I can just click on Add. And that also shows up right here under the other shortcuts that I've created for Keynote. Now, if I go back to Keynote, I shouldn't have to restart it. But looks like I do. Hold on, let me quit this. And let's bring that back up, because looked like I saw something that was odd. And let's go here. Let's go back to save. It used it for duplicate. Okay, why did it do that? So let me go back. We love trial by fire and Murphy's Law. So right here, Shift Option. All right, so let's do this. Let's take that out of there. And if I take that out of there.
Chita, you've missed the ellipses.
I missed the ellipses. What do you mean I missed the ellipses?
It's save as ellipses.
Well, right now, save as is gone from here. So do you mean in the menu?
No, press your option.
It was there.
There we are. All right, so that already has a
Save as
shortcut. ...
...
Yeah, save as ... I don't want that. Let me find something that doesn't have something associated with it. Rename. Rename. Do we want to rename? Let's do set password. Let's do that one. All right, so let's change that one. Set password. That doesn't look like it has a keyboard shortcut if I press any key. All right. All right, so let's go back. And let's go back to the Keynote. And can you mute your microphone, please? Let's go back to Keynote, and we're going to, what was it, rename? Rename. And let's do a very odd shortcut for this. Let's do Control Option 1. I'm doing Control Option 1. Remember that in case I have a memory relapse. Control Option Keypad 1. So now I'm going to choose Add. All right, so there it is. And let's go here. So now, okay, let's quit it. And let's go back.
Again, you need ellipses.
Again, I should not need ellipses. I have done this before without any ellipses. And Keynote is just not my friend today.
A comment on the ellipses.
Go ahead.
I print a PDF regularly by using Command P and Command P. And somewhere along the line, they changed print to PDF to have an ellipsis instead of not having one. And I had to redo the shortcut to include the ellipsis to show exactly the text that I wanted to have.
I get it. Well, hold on.
So it has to match the text, the menu in the text, or text in the menu, I'm sorry.
There we are. Thank you. Okay. I don't normally do it for ones with ellipses, but thank you. Here it is. Rename. I forgot the ellipses. And now there's my keyboard shortcut. Thank you very much for everyone who helped me through this. So that's how you can add a keyboard shortcut for any command that does not have one in any of the apps on your computer. And this was a group effort today. So thank you very much.
What's ellipsis?
The 3 dots, those are ellipses. Dot, dot, dot. When you see dot, dot, dot after something, that's an ellipse.
Thank you.
And yeah, and it's 3 dots, always 3. All right. So
Chita,
again, yes, go ahead.
yeah, Chita, does the Option key holding it down change that? In other words, if you didn't have that, or if you have that and you hold the Option key, or put the Option key first in your shortcut, will that get rid of the need for the ellipsis? Because it does for, you know, close and open and print and everything. If you hold down the Option key when you click it, they go away and it immediately closes and or reboots or whatever.
I don't know. From my experience right now, like right now, I'm pressing down on the Option key and you see different commands that are popping up. So trial and error.
If you go back into when you set into the setting the thing up and start with the Option key in the shortcut.
If I start with the Option key in the shortcut, oh, I see what you're. I sort of see what you're saying.
Option has
I
that
don't.
SS thing value.
Say that again, Frank. Frank, you're breaking up for me. Can you say that again?
Yes. Option is that key with the backwards long S symbol. So put that in before the other pieces that you put in to cancel the ellipsis.
I don't know, because when I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to tell it to press Option first and then go through the rest of those keys. Actually, let's try that. Let's see who needs an option. Actually, I don't know if I want to try that. Let's, yeah, I know. Trial by error. Frank, I tell you what, let me try that and I'll bring it back. Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, appreciate that. Thank you everyone for your input on that one. And where are we? Oh, all right, let's go here. And you go back here. All right, so I find, as someone who is on my computer more than I care to admit, I find that making keyboard shortcuts really helps streamline your efforts when you're doing anything. I can do things faster on my keyboard than I can by using a mouse. So if you add keyboard shortcuts to your workflow, it will make things a lot better. Thank you, Jim. I really appreciate that. Okay. All right, next question is, all right, we just did that. We don't need to see you again. All right, next question. My iPhone 12 when it goes to sleep about 2 minutes after last use, will not alert me to messages, emails, ring, or voice. I did call Apple Care. They had me reset to original value and it did not work. Now, Robert, are you here? Oh, Robert, you're not here today. Robert, yes, you are. Robert, unmute yourself. I have a question for you. Robert, I know you're here. I see you. I see you right there, Robert. Unmute yourself. I have a question for you. I want to know, Robert sent this question to me, and then he sent me an email saying that he had solved it. I wanted to know how he solved this. So Robert maybe stepped away, but Robert is not responding. So I don't know. I don't know how Robert answered his question and how he got it solved. I was hoping he could share this with us. So let me see if I can ask Robert to unmute himself, if that will help. It's ficus. What does that mean, Bob? Dale, what does that mean? Okay. All right. I'm getting no response, so I don't know the answer to this question. Robert did say something about the alerts were going directly to the Apple Watch. So I don't know what happened with that. Okay. And
it could be focused in the sleep app.
well, you know, he said that Apple support had him reset the iPhone. And if the iPhone was reset back to factory settings, focus should not have been turned on at that time. So, and he still said he had that problem. So that's that was my question. Again, I wanted Robert to share with us how he found the solution to this. So hopefully Robert will see this video and see that we asked. All right. This question I got, back up, sorry.
Chita?
I'm listening, go ahead.
Yeah, it's possible. This confused me like when I first got an Apple Watch,
Yes.
but it's how it works is it's possible that the Apple Watch could be muted, but the Apple Watch gets the messages first. So it takes precedent. And if you get the message there, it's not going to play the sound on the phone.
That's very possible. That could be it. But until we get responses from Robert, we don't know. Mr. McGuire, you have a, thank you, David. Mr. McGuire, you have a comment.
Yes. The watch gets its information via the phone first. So while I understand the point that was being made, if the messages are going to the watch, but they're not seeing it on the phone, whatever alerts or messages that they're not getting, they should be coming from the phone to the watch.
Right.
I don't know if they had him restore his phone or if they just had him reset some settings. That would be useful information. But your watch needs that phone to get that information. So
right, and his excuse me, and his comment was that after 2 minutes, when the phone goes to sleep, he wouldn't get any alerts at all. So again, that's why I wanted him to share that information with us and fix that.
It almost sounds like there's a do not disturb is on the phone, but it's not on the watch. If he's getting the messages, if they're being sent to the watch, they're just being forwarded on. His information would be more useful for this question.
Absolutely. But when my phone is on Do Not Disturb, my watch automatically goes to Do Not Disturb.
Right, but you can manually turn off the do not disturb, so it will go to the watch.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's the case for this gentleman, but
Okay.
it can be done.
All right. All right. Thank you. I appreciate your input, and I appreciate your input. And Robert, you're still here. I see you. I see your name. Okay. Anyway, I'll leave you alone. All right. So my next question. Let's go here. We already answered you. Where do documents get saved? It's my typo. Where do documents get saved? Where documents get saved seems arbitrary. Sometimes to the cloud, sometimes not. I am never queried as to where I prefer. And this is my response. I think Apple made it unnecessarily confusing when it comes to saving documents. And I've already turned this off on my Finder, but maybe I can show you with another document. And let me escape out of this. All right, so come here and let's click here. All right, so here's a question, and I put it in a text edit document. Let me hide this and hide you. So I train people online on software. And a lot of times when they save a document, they'll just go in, press save, have no idea where that document went. And I'll watch them do this and I'll ask them, where'd you save your document? They don't know. So I think that, and I think Apple made this confusing. And like I said, it's a little hard for me to show it to you because I don't have my Finder set up that way anymore. But if I take this text edit document that I created and I press save, I've streamlined what my computer shows me. Now, some of you, when you save a document, you may see all kinds of things showing up right here. You may see recent documents. You may see separation of the columns. You may see separation in rows. You may see all kinds of things pop up here. And when I first saw that Apple was doing this, I thought, how do you expect anybody to find anything? So most of the time when you're working on your computer and you save something or you're working in the Finder, Apple immediately shows you, or your computer immediately shows you recents. Recents isn't where I want to be. I want to be in my computer, in my hard drive, so that I know exactly where my things are. And for those of you who store all your documents on your desktop, you and I can have a conversation later. But what I did, I went into the Finder and I turned all of that stuff off. And so that I just see whatever it is I want to see. Now, there are different views that you have, and this could be where you set that up. I selected show sidebar. I selected show me things in columns. I could select icons. I could select list. Whoops, that's icons again. I could select list. I select columns because when I click on something, usually it's a folder and I want to know where things are going. But some of these other items, group by name, group by kind, group by application, group by last date, date added, all of these things I find to show me not the information that I want to see, and some of the information can be confusing. So I have show me the sidebar because most of the time I'm searching for something here, whether it be my computer, the applications folder, or folders that I've created. And then I want it to show items in columns. And I don't want you to group them by really anything. And if I select none, it will actually group everything by numerical and alphabetical order. So I've streamlined how this window shows me something. And if I can't find the location directly in this window when it first pops up, I go to my hard drive, and then I go to my users folder. And then from there, I click down so that I save it exactly where I want to save it. So it really isn't arbitrary. It's just where the Finder has been told to start showing you information. So I look at it as it's a question. It's asking me, where do you want to save your information? So I tell it where I want my information saved. And I think that's the best way. Always tell it where you want your information saved and navigate to that location. And don't just save something and click on the save button. Peter, I agree. I always do an initial save as, so I can pick where. You don't even, you can do save or save as. Save when you have not saved the document in the first place. A save and a save as is the same. After you create the document and have saved it once, save as is different. And we'll give you different options. But either way, Brian, yes, that does work. From Peter, this is one of the reasons I set up save as and keyboard shortcuts. Okay, understood. Straight showing. Okay. Okay. Why don't, Greg, why don't you use the search and Finder app to find the folder that you want to save? Sometimes I do. Sometimes I can go here to the search function, and I tell you what, instead of just searching, I type in a shortcut that I made, KF, and KF is find the kind, and it's telling the computer to look for a folder. And if I name the folder, what can I show you? If I name the folder like NMUG, it'll start bringing up all folders that have NMUG in the name of the folder. So I do use the search function a lot of the times, but most of the time, I don't need it. And actually, I use the search function not just for this window. I use that shortcut. If I'm in Spotlight, I can use KF and tell it, really, KF, find kind, find folder, and I can tell it to find any folders any folders that way as well. So I have all kinds of ways I can find something. And yes, I do use the search function. I just may use it at a different location. Absolutely, Peter. Let me show that. Peter's comment, and okay, and how do I do that without bringing up all of that? Okay, Peter's comment is that I have the Finder view show the path at the bottom of the window. Absolutely, all day, every day. I have the Finder path at the bottom of the window so that I know where I am and where my files are going. And anyone else? Okay, is there a place you save it to that becomes the default? Frank, no, there is no, actually, if I want to save files quickly, I'll make a folder on my desktop and put them in there and then file them away on my computer. I need to have a place, a home for them and not just sitting on the desktop. Okay, that is my last question, my last comment. And I thank you all for, please repeat how to show file location at the bottom of the Finder. Okay, I'm going to quickly do this.
Does he mean path?
Yeah, he means path. And mine is already turned on. George, could you please mute your microphone? Okay. Where? If you have a Finder window open and you go to View and you select this option, it will say Show Path. And because I show where everything is, so like here, if I click on Users, down at the bottom of the Finder window, it will start showing me the path that I'm following to get to that location. So I always use this. I always want to know where I am because sometimes if I have my another external drive that has some of the same information, it may try to go to there. So I always want to know where I am. All right. Again, thank you for your comments and questions and your help. Please save the chat file. We have some very good information in the chat file. And I really appreciate every question that I received. If I didn't get to your question, I still have it and I'll come back to it. Thank you so much. And George, all yours.
Chita, that was a great meeting, outstanding. And if everyone would unmute themselves and please thank or cheer
Thank you, Chita.
Chita.